The House Minority Leader, Kevin McCarthy, selecting who he wants to be on this January 6th commission. Jim Jordan, Rodney Davis, Kelly Armstrong, and freshman Troy Nehls. 3 of these members voted to overturn election results in Arizona and Pennsylvania. Do these picks say anything to you about how seriously or not seriously the minority leader is taking this investigation, Representative?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I think Kevin McCarthy has decided that his role as a minority leader in the House of Representatives is to essentially be chauffeur of the clown car. And he believes that his job is to champion some of the most ludicrous, irresponsible, and dangerous members of his party instead of centering, you know, some of the more even-keeled and responsible members of his party. And that's what he's decided his leadership is and what it means to this country. I think it's shameful, but it will not stop Democrats, and it will not stop people who are actually interested in setting this country on the right track and trying to do their best to do so.
So, as you know, yesterday we talked about this circus that came to D.C. Under the guise of Kevin McCarthy's picks to sit in a serious position in the select committee for the investigation into the insurrection on January 6th. Now, the only reason why we have a January 6th select committee is, and Nancy Pelosi did not want to have a select committee in the House of Representatives at all. Nancy Pelosi and the Senate, the Democrats in the Senate, wanted to have a national, independent, bipartisan commission outside of politics, outside of government, outside of the House, outside of the Senate. The Senate Republicans refused. They wouldn't even debate it. They refused. And they voted it down in a cloture vote. Okay, they didn't even want to open debate. Why? Because they know their hands are dirty. They know what they did to contribute to the stupidity in this country that led people to believe falsely that America was incapable of having free and fair elections in 2020. They allowed for the big lie to propagate amongst the red states. They actually played into people's disappointment and resentment that the swamp had to go by virtue of a majority of Americans saying so, voting that way, and the Electoral College votes being 74 less for Donald Trump than for Joe Biden. And these crazy Republicans decided violence was the answer, and they literally told people to go to Washington. They were going to have a million MAGA march. Donald Trump told them, you'll get nothing with weakness. And now we know that Donald Trump continuously wanted to use the awesome U.S. military against American citizens when they were protesting George Floyd's horrible, horrific lynching on videotape. He wanted those protesters to be killed. He wanted them to be beaten. He wanted them to be shot. And when the military told him that he cannot do that, he said, can't you just shoot them in the legs? And they said no. But when it came time for violence that actually resulted in over 500 arrests by people wearing tactical gear and body armor and having a quick, rapid response team, meaning weapons stored over in Virginia on the other side of the Potomac. And we know that that happened because yesterday we had, some oath keepers who, were ex-military who finally pled, in a plea deal and are agreeing to cooperate with the government, and they're going to rat out their buddies. And the information they're giving tells us that the weapons were kept across the Potomac because of D.C.'s gun laws. Anyway, now we need an investigation into who paid for it. Now we need an investigation into who actually organized these people and who was communicating with these people, and what do we do to prevent it from happening again? The Republicans in the Senate voted not to have an independent commission. And so therefore, it either was going to go uninvestigated and unanswered, or it was going to be up to the House and the Speaker of the House to convene a select committee, a bipartisan select committee, to do the investigation. So Kevin McCarthy, who wants to be the Speaker of the House because he will never, Kevin McCarthy's from California, and Kevin McCarthy knows he will never be a senator because he can't win statewide in the state of California. He knows he will never be able to run for president. He knows he will never be able to run for any can't be governor of California. So the only power position Kevin McCarthy could ever hope to have is Speaker of the House, and he is willing to do anything at all, including be more outraged with Nancy Pelosi than terrorists who attacked his office, his workspace on January 6th. Seriously, he's throwing in with the terrorists. He's throwing in with domestic white supremacists, with domestic terrorists, with crazy people, with oath keepers and 3%ers and Proud Boys and nutbags in this country, okay? He's decided. So today, after his picks were exposed as having to go to work in the smallest, tiniest car because it's packed full of clowns who objected to the certification of the election, just like the terrorists were trying to prevent. 3 of them objected even after the insurrection, even after the violence in Arizona and Pennsylvania, and none of them are from Arizona or Pennsylvania. Nancy Pelosi put out a statement this morning saying that this is her purview. This is what the Speaker of the House gets to do. She has veto power over any committee assignment, including this select committee, to investigate what happened on January 6th. So she put out a statement today saying that the violent domestic attack on Congress on January 6th was the worst assault on the Capitol since the War of 1812 and the worst domestic assault on American democracy since the Civil War. We are facing a radically new threat in the kinds of forces that combined to attack our government on January 6th. The future of our democracy is on the line. This assault was an attempt to overthrow the government. We need a comprehensive investigation as to who organized this, who paid for this, how they nearly succeeded in overthrowing a presidential election, why they did it, and how we organize ourselves to prevent anything like it from ever happening again. It had been our hope to establish a bipartisan, independent national commission, but there is no prospect for that commission at this time because of insufficient support from Republican senators. Therefore, the House had to establish a select committee to investigate the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol. The Select Committee on the January 6th insurrection will investigate and report upon the facts and causes of the terrorist mob attack on the United States Capitol on January 6th, and it is charged with reporting its findings, conclusions, and recommendations for preventing future attacks. She then talks about what happened Monday night when Kevin McCarthy announced the members, the 5, that he wanted to serve on the Select Committee. And she objected today to Jim Banks, who still, he's one of those that refused to certify, and Jim Jordan, because they lack integrity, and their appearance on that committee will take away the integrity of the committee.